Hi there, folks. Charlie Gipple here, certified financial planner. We're going to talk about whether you can contribute to a traditional IRA. Can you deduct what you contribute to a traditional IRA? What about a Roth IRA? Can you contribute to a Roth IRA? So we're going to talk about all this, and I'm going to give you some numbers to be aware of that if you make beyond this amount, then it's possible that you can't do this and can't do that. First and foremost, traditional IRAs. Bill Gates himself, Elon Musk himself, and the gazillions of dollars they make a year, they can contribute to a traditional IRA. There are no income limits on if you make more than this, then you cannot contribute to a traditional IRA. There are no income limits on it. Bill Gates himself can contribute $8,000 in the year two. Now, that's laughable because $8,000 isn't anything for him, but he can contribute $8,000 to a traditional IRA in the year 2025. Or if one is less than age 50, it's $7,000, right? So again, $7,000 up to age 49. And then if you're 50 or older, you have that additional $1,000 catch up, which means $8,000. So doesn't matter how much money you make, you can contribute to a traditional IRA. Now, the next question is can you deduct that $8,000, let's say, against your income for purposes of minimizing your income taxation at the end of the year? And this is where it depends. First of all, if you are not a part of an employer-sponsored plan at work, if you're in general, we're going to get in some details here, but in general, if you're not a part of an employer-sponsored plan at work, then it doesn't matter how much money you make, you can deduct that amount, $8,000, $7,000 against your income. Now, what if you are a part of a employer-sponsored plan at work? And I'm talking about a 401k plan, for instance. Then there are income limits. So let's say I'm a part of a employer-sponsored plan. I'm putting in 10 grand a year into a 401k. Can I also deduct that IRA contribution that I'm making? Well, it depends. So if married filing jointly, which would be my status, me and my wife's status, if we make more than $146,000, then in modified adjusted gross income, that is, if we make more than $146,000, then I cannot deduct my IRA contribution. I can't do it. Technically, the phase out starts at $126,000 and goes to $146,000. What if you're single? What if you're a single filer? Where does that phase out begin and where does it end? $79,000 to $89,000 is where that phase out begins and ends. Meaning, in short, if you make $90,000 in modified adjusted gross income as a single filer, as a single person, then you cannot deduct any of your traditional IRA contribution. Again, that's only assuming that you have a plan at work that you're participating in. If you don't have any plan at work or whatever, then the government's not going to take away your ability to deduct your IRA, right? That's a way to think about it. So there are no limitations if you're not a part of a plan at work. Now, we get into a little bit of an exception here when it comes to joint folks here, right? So I'm a part of a plan at work. We just talked about how much money that me and my wife cannot make more than in order for me to deduct what I contribute to the traditional IRA. What if my wife doesn't have a plan at work? We're married filing jointly. What if she doesn't have a plan at work? Well, I assume then that she can deduct all of her $7,000 against our income. Nope. When the IRS looks at a couple, there is an income limit that even the spouse that doesn't have a plan at work has to abide by, so to speak, in order to deduct her portion. What is that phase out? What does that phase out look like? That looks like $236,000 to $246,000. So in other words, if we as a couple have modified adjusted gross income more than $246,000, my wife, even though she doesn't have a plan at work, she can contribute her $7,000 to a tradition. Technically, she's 50 now, so she can do $8,000. Me, I'm young. I'm 47. I can only do $7,000. I'm still youthful. But she can contribute $8,000 to that traditional IRA. She just cannot deduct it if we say made more than $246,000, even though she doesn't have a plan at work. Okay, well, what about Roth IRAs? Roth IRAs are pretty simple. Whether you have a plan at work or not, doesn't matter. There is an income limit on whether you can contribute to a Roth IRA or not. It's $8,000, again, 50 and older, $7,000 less than age 50. So the same maximum amount one can contribute. But you can't contribute if married filing jointly, you as a couple have modified adjusted gross income of more than $246,000. So the phase out begins at $236,000 and goes to $246,000. Married filing jointly, if you make more than $246,000, then zero is what you as a couple can contribute to a Roth IRA. What about a single filer? The phase out is $150,000 to $165,000. So as a single filer, if you make $166,000 in modified adjusted gross income, you cannot contribute to a Roth IRA at all. Now, some of the smart folks listening to this may say, but Charlie just said that we can make $1 gazillion and contribute to a non-deductible IRA. Is there a way that we can do that and then do a backdoor Roth IRA conversion later on? That's a pretty smart observation you have, and there are ways of doing that, which is beyond the scope of this video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and a subscribe for more information on IRAs like this.